Let's talk about buying a new house. And you may assume that freehold, meaning you own the building and the land it is on outright, is yours. But for many new homes in new modern developments, that isn't the case.
Yeah, many new builds are leasehold, which means that you only own the property for a fixed period of time. And of course, that can cause expensive, unexpected problems legally, structurally, as time goes on.
The man to talk to about this is Paul Lewis from Radio 4's Money Box programme, and he's been investigating all of this. Good morning, Paul.
Hello, Naga.
Yeah, you buy a new house. I was always under the impression that when you bought a flat, that's when the leasehold came into account. But this is now happening with new build homes.
Yes, in some parts of England, particularly the northwest and the northeast, but it is happening more, it seems, with new build homes, or at least it was. And the problem is that it's not just the length of time you have the lease for, which is normally very long, 999 years. The problem is that you don't own the land under the building. So, you know, normally, as you say, when you buy a house, you think you buy your little bit of planet Earth, really. You own the land under it and you can do with it what you like with it within the planning rules. But if you only own the leasehold, then the freeholder, which originally is the developer, can decide. They set ground rent, for example, charge you to sit on the land, and also they can make charges for extensions and alterations as well. So that can cause problems. But what has been happening recently is the freeholders, the house builders, have been selling on these freeholds basically to investment firms, and they can put up the price they charge. And we had one example where a lady wanted to buy the freehold of her property. She was told after 2 years she could. It would cost her £4,000, something like that. But when she went to do so, she found it had been bought by an investor, and she was told it would cost her £13,500. So those are the kind of problems people are facing.
Are these negotiable, these increasing prices?
Not really, no, because the freeholder can set them. Now, there was a famous case with Taylor Wimpey where it had a clause in its leases whereby the ground rent doubled every 10 years. In fact, I think the first doubling was after 8 years and then every 10 years. And that was causing problems to people because suddenly their ground rent was £175 a year, but then it went up to £350. And then over the next 40 years, if they stayed there that long, it could have been well in the low thousands, and they found that unfair. Taylor Wimpey has set aside money to try and resolve that problem, but so far not very much seems to have happened.
OK, that's Taylor Wimpey. What about house builders in general? How are they justifying this?
Well, Taylor Wimpey, I should add, say they're in the middle of negotiations which are very complex, and they wouldn't talk to us about how those were going, understandably. Other house builders have said to us that it's really, in some cases, in the leaseholder's interest, because that means the whole new estate, they can control the quality of it, and they can make sure things look right. But, you know, some people have been charged thousands of pounds if they want to build an extension just for permission, and it's that kind of thing where you think you own the house but you don't. So the house builders generally defend it, and I think it is a practice that is beginning now to die away, though it did grow for a while. But of course a lot of these freeholds are already in the hands of investors, investment companies, and they can really set the terms. So after 2 years you do have the right to buy it, but that can be an expensive business.
Paul, thanks for a taster on that. I know Radio 4 Money Box has been doing an investigation to this. You're going to look at also what the government plans to do about it. That's at midday on Radio 4.